According to a new analysis from the Washington Post, in recent years, Donald Trump's rhetoric has become more extreme, increasingly violent, and most importantly, more untethered from reality. Now, the Washington Post started analyzing Donald Trump's statements while he was president, the ones immediately following the 2020 election, and then, of course, everything that has happened since he left office. And they've determined that if you put these statements side by side, Trump is using more extreme rhetoric. His fantasies about the 2020 election are becoming more outlandish. They're a little more out there. They're a little more elaborate. And of course, he has shifted from describing the events of January 6th, where he initially, the day of, after heavy pressure, condemned the folks, to now saying it was a beautiful day and maybe he's going to pardon those people. Let me read a little bit of this. Not only has Trump never acknowledged his defeat in the 2020 presidential election, but over time, his false claims of rampant fraud have become more elaborate. In the past, he attacked the expansion of mail voting during the pandemic to suggest Democrats could have inflated their tallies. Now he claims falsely to have definitively found millions of fraudulent ballots stuffed into drop boxes. So what we're seeing is just the evolution of Donald Trump's lies, is what the Post is pointing out. His lies are getting more intense. They're getting more elaborate because he is getting more desperate. That's what all of this change in rhetoric is really about. It is a desperate man, desperate to avoid prosecution, desperate to regain that power he once had, and he will do anything to get to that point. He feels boxed in right now. He feels like he is losing his grip on the Republican Party. Obviously, he didn't win the 2020 election, and his brain can't even handle that loss. So he's fabricating these scenarios in his own brain to try to make himself feel better. And at the same time, he's making up these scenarios to try to tell the investigators that, no, I totally believed it was stolen, which is why I did all these, horrendous things. But I think this is an important study. I think this is an important analysis that people do need to be aware of. Donald Trump is becoming more unglued from reality. The question is he aware that he is becoming more unglued? And that's where we really do have to draw the distinction. I know most people watching this are going to be like, no, he's just crazy. He's a horrible person. But listen, folks, I do think the guy's definitely got some crazy in him. Don't get me wrong, but I also think he knows how to manipulate people. So we have to determine how deep the crazy goes. Is he full-blown, should be, in a white coat in the padded room? Or is this a show to throw off the investigators and gain sympathy with his base? It's somewhere in between those two, right? Because those are pretty much the two extremes on either end. So yes, it has to be somewhere in between them. But I don't think Trump is as crazy as we'd like to think. I think this is a planned crazy. I think this is Donald Trump intentionally trying to make it seem like the walls are closing in on him, not because he's afraid of it, even though he is, but because he wants his base to do something, another January 6th type event, to come out and save him. That's why we're seeing this increase in rhetoric. That's why we're seeing the attacks on the judges and the juries and the prosecutors. That's what this is about. It's not just because he's scared. It's because he's hoping somewhere out there in the country, some of his followers are going to hear it as a call to action and then put it in action. This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.